I'm going to call the meeting to order. And I have to see if I can do this right. I'm going to try to share my screen.
You got this, Larry.
So I can share, so we can share the agenda.
Are we recording?
We are.
Okay, great.
I think this is.
Look at
Did it
you, Larry. Yay!
My first successful act as co-chair. I'm going to leave on a high note and resign officially.
What? April Fools.
So everybody's seen the agenda, I trust. Got it in the email that I sent out. I did add 2 items. One is just brief discussion of the grant application, Mary Kay, that we.
Okay. Yep.
I put that near the bottom here, and then maybe that was that the only thing I added?
I sent out the roster, but I don't see that on here. That was like one of the last minute things I did today. That's fine. We can still go through the agenda.
I did get it, but I didn't add it to the.
That's okay. Totally okay.
But would people like to? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll motion to approve the agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And everybody got a copy of the minutes with that too. I don't have them to share, but I trust everybody saw the minutes in the meeting announcement. Sure. Hold on. What? I'm busy. What?
Eric, would you like to take this time and maybe introduce yourself? We certainly welcome you to the Arts Commission, but why Larry stepped away. Would you be so kind to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. My name is Eric Begonik, and I live in Richfield on 2nd Ave with my family, my wife Kristen, and my daughter Hazel, who's 12, going to be 13 this summer. And I work in higher education for my full-time gig. That's working as a retention data manager at Concordia St. Paul. And then that's part of the academic advising team there. But I'm also a local musician. Most notably, I work with families doing classes called Family Rock with my band, the Royal Order of Chords and Keys, which is mostly just me solo these days. But I do music at Sarah Jane's Music School in Northeast Minneapolis usually every week. It's been every 2 weeks during the pandemic. So, and online, of course.
I love that place, Eric. I take ukulele lessons from an instructor there.
Oh, fantastic. Who do you take lessons with?
Oh, his name is Al Church.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I know Al. Cool. Yeah, so that's kind of my little intro, and I've done a lot of community work as well. Most recently with Make Music Twin Cities, I was on that committee for a few years, helping bring music events on the summer solstice every year. So all around the Twin Cities area. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Great.
Arts Commission.
Great. Larry, sorry, we did jump down to introductions, but we will need approval of minutes if we can jump back.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I got called away for a second.
Yep, no problem.
It's doing meetings in the middle of a pandemic from home. Yeah, so everybody saw the minutes, I trust, when they went out with the meeting announcement. Do we have an approval for the minutes from the last meeting? A motion to approve.
You can call on somebody too, Larry.
Janie, would you like to make a motion to approve the
I'll
minutes?
just make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
All right, and then back to introductions. Welcome, Eric. Thanks for your for joining. It'll be a great. I think you'll be a great addition to the Arts Commission. I'm Larry. I've been on. This is my third term as on the Arts Commission, and I am just recently was elected co-chair for this year, along with Karen, who's not here tonight. So,
Nice to
who would
meet
like to go next? Who would like to go next?
I can go next. My name is Mary Kay Eric, and I am the staff liaison to the Richfield Arts Commission. We've had a few emails back and forth, but welcome aboard to you.
yeah, and hi,
No.
Eric.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
hi, Janie.
I'm Janie. This is my second year on the Public Arts Commission, and yeah, it's been really interesting with the pandemic, but I think we'll get a lot of fun stuff done this year. And yeah, I also have a 12-year-old daughter, Eric, so that's cool.
Awesome.
And I'm Mia Simpson. I've been on the commission for, I think it's been about 5 years. Maybe it's 4. Anyway, I served as co-chair of the commission for the last few years with Joyce Marie, who couldn't make it today. And I'm serving as secretary for the commission. And it's very nice to meet you. Welcome aboard.
I'm Chelsea. This is, I think, the end of my second year getting towards on the Arts Commission. Yeah, that's about it.
So my name's Mary Supple, and I am the council liaison to the commission. Welcome.
Do you have Elise?
I thought we had Elise on, but I'm
Yep. She looks like she's here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm Elise. I'm kind of like the high school commissioner. Like, I don't know what the title is, but I'm a junior and I go to school in Minnetonka. But I live in Richfield.
You are our youth commission member, Elise.
Right, that's what it's
You're a
called.
commission member. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Glad you're back.
Glad everybody's back. All right. Did we get everybody? I think so. The next item on the agenda is the RAC Public Art Brochure update. And I know, Mary Kay, you just sent out an email with that, but do you have any more information that you want to share about that?
I do have a couple of things. Hopefully you had a chance to see it. And Kevin just sent it to us. We have a few minor tweaks. I'm wondering if anyone had the chance to look at it and what you thought of the new circles and more with the pinpoint. I know Janie had put some time into it and thought that the circles kind of matched, but now Kevin is asking for one more look to see that the point of the pin maybe is a little bit more specific. And I did share it with Karen as well, and unfortunately she couldn't be here this evening, but I'm looking for any feedback that you have. Some of the changes, I can tell you why we made them. We feel that there is going to be more and more public art coming in. And so with that, we needed a bigger space without having to recreate the whole brochure. And so you'll notice that we took it off the map portion and put it on the back side, and that will allow for growth. We know right off the bat that Chase Bank will be coming to us with a new piece of artwork. And we know that possibly down by Taft Park and the Home Depot, that a pocket park is going in there, and a piece of artwork will be a part of that. And then we put the new map in because we realized we didn't have, I believe it was Richfield Parkway that we were missing. And so we thought a nicer, newer map so people could find it is important. So you may or may not have had time, but if you can give one final look and any feedback on that, I'm thinking we are the closest we've ever been to going to print with that. So the timing hopefully will be perfect for the Sun Current article. I did ask Kevin, we had originally talked about possibly putting a point of contact, or I don't remember what his fancy name was for it, but putting maybe if they need more information or can't find something, that I could serve as the contact for that, unless someone from the Arts Commission wanted their email on there or some way to contact them. But I do have it that he needs to update the logo. I'm not sure it's the red and blue one. I couldn't really tell from my computer. So I will follow up on that. But for those of you that might have had a chance, because I sent it very late, did anyone have any questions for me? Any concerns or updates, something you liked, something you didn't like, or if you need more time and want to get back to me early next week, I'm also fine with that.
So Mary Kay, a couple of questions. Oh, sorry, Chelsea, did you want to go first?
I just had a quick comment. I was curious if we wanted to include as a piece of public art the dioramas in the Woodlake Nature Center. I know they're not accessible except when the building is open, but I've always thought they're pretty cool.
We didn't have any pictures of those. And we thought at this point, since the building was locked, that maybe at a certain point, I know you put that on your list, maybe at a certain point, they could be added, but you're right, we did not. If you feel strongly about it, I can go back to Kevin. But
just curious, we're running out of space on it too, so.
Right. I know you mentioned that when I asked you to go give me your top 8, and I did put it on the list for the guy at Sun Current. So maybe down the line we can do like when the building opens, maybe the Art Commission could do a post and we could talk about them and maybe how they came to be, or a little shout out or pop up event on that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Is there a reason why we don't want to add it to the brochure, Mary Kay?
Well, time is one, and I don't really have a good excuse, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Kevin didn't see it as public art. And
Oh,
so
okay.
he was doing the brochure, and I asked, and I think there might be another venue that we could address that, and then possibly down the line add it. I thought it could be part of the Sun Current, but no one really jumped on it. I asked the folks at Wood Lake, and I asked Amy, and I didn't get a rousing, yep, let's get it on there. So
Okay.
I move forward.
When do you want final comments, Mary Kay? On this?
The sooner the better, because Karen wasn't here and I sent it out late. And it's a holiday weekend. I told Kevin that I would have everything final to him Monday.
Okay. My only comment is I feel like the flags are a little big. I'm not, you know, it's trivial and not a mandatory change, but I feel like they're, I don't know, a little out of scale for the size of the map. I found it visually a little jarring, but if it's too much work to make them a little bit smaller so you can actually kind of see a little bit better where it's located, you know, that would be a recommendation from me. I'm also not super thrilled with the color, the red. But again, it's not a mandatory change, and if we're too far down the design effort here to backtrack on anything, then let's just leave it.
I kind of agree with both those points. I liked that blue color. I thought it looked nice in the first one. My other comment would be for the poetry on 66th and Portland. Either those lines should also be red, or everything should be changed back to blue, because I think it is a little confusing there that the flags are red, but then the highlights are blue. And I would move number 15 so it's the point is exactly on Portland Avenue too.
Anybody else? I was jotting those notes down for Kevin. Did anyone else see anything or need more time to take a look?
I haven't looked at it very closely since you sent it out, Mary Kay, but I'll look at it over the weekend.
Sounds great.
And you said Monday, Mary Kay, so April 5th.
I would love it if it was then, but if someone needs more time and reaches out to me, I would just reach out to Kevin.
So sorry, I got confused there. So do you want us to connect directly with Kevin, or everything should come through you?
Sorry, say it one more time.
Oh, I don't know if I misheard you there. Do you want any comments going to Kevin directly from us, or should everything go through you?
If it can go through me, it's a lot easier.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I wrote down what you guys said tonight, and I'll have that conversation with him. And if he has any questions, I'll come back. Or if he'll make the changes and then give me another draft, I'll send it out for review. He is doing this out of the kindness of his heart. And so if we're not happy with it, we don't have to print as many. But if we can have something out and start to work with it and see and make changes maybe later down the line as well, when more artwork comes in or find someone else, we certainly can take that route as well.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything? I put the color of the flags, the pinpoints, the poetry on Portland. And the size of the pinpoints, color and size of pinpoints. Everyone okay with the map taking up the whole space and the art being on the other side?
Yeah, I liked
I
that.
think that's fine. Yeah.
Okay,
I think it looks great too. Having seen
Okay.
it for the first time, it's the nice visual, so I think people will enjoy it. I know my family would enjoy it, so.
okay,
It's a nice way to think about
thanks.
All right. And moving on, I don't see her here tonight, but Lisa Rudolph, who used to be on the Arts Commission, is the liaison from the Community Service Commission to our Arts Commission. So I don't know if there's any updates. I haven't heard anything from her. And I don't know if there's, so I don't know if there are any Community Service Commission updates. Is anyone else aware of any updates they may have?
Sorry, Larry, I am not.
That's okay. I'm okay with having short agenda items. Next one, and Mary Kay, you may have to do a little bit more on this one because I just haven't been as big a part of the process as I know Karen has been. But
Yep.
the Mississippi Valley Poets Poetry Project. What I can say is that there's a group that's approached us, and they do poems on posts in different locations. They've done it a couple other places. Is that right, Mary Kay?
Mankato, most recently.
Okay. And they would like to do it here in Richfield. So they've been meeting with Mary Kay and and Karen, and am I correct in saying the property, they're looking at the area around Richfield Lake, and have been including the property owners around basically where the co-op and the apartments are. Is that correct?
Correct.
Cornerstone Group. That's what I was thinking of.
You are absolutely right. So I can share a little bit more with the group and where we're at. Karen and I met with a representative from the Mississippi Valley Poets, and we went and looked at Adams Hill and Richfield Lake. And we also brought up Taft Park, but we didn't go and look at it because when she came to Richfield Lake, she said, I agree with you. This is perfect. And so we set up a meeting with Colleen Carey and Lawrence Black from Cornerstone Group. And we just had that Zoom meeting on Monday. And we talked to them because of the proximity of their amphitheater and their little pizza oven space. And they have some artwork behind the co-op before you get to the condominiums and apartments. And they were pretty supportive of the project and liked it and wanted to know more, and were willing to take 2 to 3 poems on their property to tie it in with what we might put at the park. So as we move the project forward, I can share with you that the steps are, we would need to take a vote tonight and see if you guys wanted to move forward with the project. We're looking at 8 to 15 poems going in on a 4x4 pole, and Mississippi Valley Poets is conducting the contest. The contest is currently going on right now. The theme is nature. The signs are being paid for by the Mississippi Valley Poets. They are 11 by 14 with 1/8 to, I think, a 4 thick. Our Public Works Department has graciously offered to purchase the poles for us and install them at no
Who was that,
cost. to Pratt.
Mary Kay? Sorry, who was that? Who's gonna-
Our Public Works Department.
Okay.
And so I just sent out an email to him today asking what his budget could handle. And then if he would be able to put in 2 to 3 posts on the Cornerstone property to kind of tie it in, since there are bridges that walk right from that property onto the park. And what we would need tonight is first the discussion and questions answered. Then if you want to move forward, we would need a vote. And if that vote passed, the next step that we would need is an open forum for the community. And I was targeting a date of April 21st. And because Colleen from Cornerstone Group and Lawrence, for that matter, were pretty excited about it, I went one step further and asked if we could use the amphitheater as our open house spot. So I believe the 21st is a Wednesday. And the reason we would need to kind of get the timing down, if you wanted to move forward with it, is that we would need a proposal to go to council at their second May meeting to get their approval on the project. And part of getting their approval is that we've crossed our T's and dotted our I's. And by holding a public open house, we would hear from the residents in the area. And anytime, in my opinion, that you enter kind of a nature-ish area, people do get concerned. So I want to be upfront with them and let them know. And Amy is on board with that. Chris Link from Public Works is on board with that. And it would be hosted by the Mississippi Valley Poets to answer the questions on the poetry. Colleen from Cornerstone would let us use her amphitheater. RAC would be there to gather the feedback and show people what the project is going to look like. I asked if a sample sign or what would be going on the post could be up and available to us so that we could share with the community what it would look like. And then we would probably go like an hour, hour and a half. If there were a lot of people there, possibly 2 hours. I've contacted John and asked if he would send out postcards with a message inviting people to come and hear about the project. And then what we gather at that meeting, a report would be written and then brought to the council in May with a target of installation around August. They have, Colleen has offered the amphitheater for the unveiling party. I don't know what you want to call it. And I believe they targeted the dates of August 11th and 12th, with one being a rain date. kind of a quick synopsis of moving the project forward if you liked the idea. We don't think that we're going to get a whole lot of negative feedback. We think the signs are going to be aesthetically pleasing. The part that I got most excited about is that they were going to have a QR code on the sign so that if you had a smartphone, you could hear the poet recite their own poem as you went along the walk. We think 8 to 15, with Colleen taking possibly 2 to 3 in there, would not overwhelm the park, and the park could handle the signs. The poems are rotated out by the Mississippi Valley Poets. If, let's say, 8 go in, a year after they go in, half or 4 would be rotated out and 4 new ones brought in. And that's all at their cost. So the cost to the city is, of course, the purchasing the post and then installing the post. And I'm waiting for feedback on that. The cost to RAC is really, really minimum, except for your time and doing some of the legwork and being at these events. And then hearing back from the public. That's going to be our big one. And we would need folks if they could be there. So did I kind of think, Larry, did I cover everything, or are there questions regarding the project? Mississippi Valley Poets does have Richfield residents as part of their club or membership. Anyone can become a member, and the cost is $25, and the contest is currently going on, and they're taking poems. I believe they're extending the deadline for the poems until May 1.
May 1 is when is the deadline for entries for the poetry contest.
They were hoping to extend it. It was going to be mid-April, and because of the current timeline and some of the additional hoops that RAC would need to take, they were going to extend the deadline on the poems. That was as of Monday.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Well, and I may be wrong, but I think that that's also a location that's been used by the city in the past to put up signs as well. I mean, I think they put up not quite this elaborate, but they put up signs around the little lake, kind of little encouraging slogans, things like that. If I remember fairly recently.
Correct.
So
the gratitude walk was just there in November, and those were temporary signs. These would be a little bit more permanent. But yes, you are absolutely correct. We've used it on that. Yes.
So it's So I agree. I think it's a location that's a good location. I don't necessarily think Richfield has a downtown Richfield, but it's as close as we get in that area. So I think location-wise, in terms of attracting people and all that, I think it's a good spot. To me, from what has been described at the moment, at least at the moment, there's not a huge time commitment from RAC members beyond kind of showing up at the listening session on the 21st, potentially. I mean, it sounds like they're really doing most of the heavy lifting with this, to me. And Cornerstone, from what I've seen from the emails exchanges, seems to be very excited about this project. So it'd be good to partner with, to use this as maybe an opportunity to do more partnering with them, especially since they've done music and art events at that location in the past. So I personally am in favor of the project.
Yeah, I'm supportive of it too, Larry. The one thing I didn't quite capture in the minutes was how the pre-work for the city council meeting. Can we review that one more time?
So it is in our best interest to bring this forward once we have the open house, to get the council's blessing, so to speak, and have them also support us in this project. And so it's a form that I have not worked with before, and maybe Mary can shed a little light on it. But Amy said she would work with me to get that in. And as we looked at the timeline, it looked doable for that second meeting in May, which would give us enough time to get the post in and have an unveiling sometime this summer, September at the latest. So it's a requirement and the name slips me, but to me, it sounded like just a summary of the project that the council could look at and see what we're giving our blessing on.
Okay, where I got a little confused is where the public feedback is happening, but the public feedback can happen at the city council meeting, correct? We don't
No.
have to, okay, will you explain
Now,
that?
the public feedback would happen at the open house in April at the amphitheater.
Okay.
So that was
So
the
just-
that's the
Go ahead.
event on April 21st that you talked about, correct, Mary Kay?
Correct, that the postcards would be mailed out to the surrounding houses and residents around the park, and inviting them to come and hear about the project. So
And that's what we can help staff.
yes,
as a
you would,
community. Okay,
we would need folks there from the Arts Commission to hear what residents come and to be able to share a little bit more. I was hoping to have a mock sign there. I was hoping to be able to show them what the poll would look like. I was hoping to be able to have some sample poems. We can share what Mankato did. I thought we would have our table there. We'd be able to use our tablecloth. We could share our public art tour brochure, possibly. And we can connect with the community because maybe from this, they find out about something else, or it's a chance to talk with people. We would follow social distancing, but being able to use the amphitheater there, as Larry mentioned, creates another partnership with Cornerstone. And so this, the open house hopefully is a open house that RAC can gather some more information and hear from residents maybe what they're looking for or what they'd like to see in addition to this project. Maybe it's making more connections.
sure. And I had one more question. Cornerstone, is that the apartment complex, or I'm not quite sure what Cornerstone is.
Cornerstone is the development company that owns that land and has developed it into the apartments, the condos. The amphitheater is there. I believe she might have, her name is Colleen. I believe she funded, like, if you haven't been there, there's some musical instruments there. I believe she might have put a bridge in, but her property goes right up to the park.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay, thanks for that
and I
clarification.
don't know how the co-op falls in there, but if you haven't been over there recently, she's really done a nice job in that small area. and it looks like she's looking to do more. And now they're going to be programming there as well, as Larry mentioned. In fact, next month, I can already tell you, because we had a full agenda this month, Illusion Theater is doing some camps at that amphitheater, and she got her name from Colleen and is coming to speak to us next month at our May meeting to talk about some partnerships.
Okay, thanks for the clarifications, Mary Kay. I get it. I think I've captured
Okay.
it correctly.
Does anyone else have any other questions regarding the project before you would take a vote?
Do we potentially have some people from RAC who would be available on the 21st to be part of the listening session? I'm not 100% sure I can be there. I might be working that evening. I'm not sure yet.
What time would it start again?
We were looking at 4:30 or 5 and being done by 7. So if we did 4:30, we'd do 4:30 to 6 or 5 to 6:30, about an hour and a half, with the understanding that if we didn't have a whole lot of people there, we would probably want to visit with them. But there is no lighting and there is no restrooms. So we thought an hour to an hour and a half with a possible rain backup date would be our best option.
I can do it if it's 5. 4:30 is getting a bit close to the end of my workday, but 5 should be okay for me.
Yeah, I can help too.
I'm happy to help as
Anybody
well.
else?
Yeah, I can definitely do it.
And you
And
said
that
4:30
date
to 7,
works if I
Mary Kay?
confirm that with Colleen.
Did you say 4:30 to 7? Was that the time? You said?
We would probably do, Chelsea, I believe it was Chelsea mentioned that 5 might be better. So maybe a 5 to 6:30.
Okay.
Yeah, that time works for me as well.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we need to move to a vote on this. Does someone want to make a motion that we move forward with the Mississippi Valley Poets Project?
I'll
Yeah.
make that.
Oh,
This-
go ahead, Mia.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was waiting for someone else to chime in. Yeah, or go ahead, Eric.
Yeah,
This-
this will be my first motion to move it
Yeah,
forward to a
for
vote.
sure.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Eric. All in favor?
I
Oh, Joyce is here too. Excellent.
Hello.
Hey, Joyce.
Sorry, I was late. I had another meeting. I was in a circle, involved in a circle, so I'm sorry. It started early. It started real early, but it, had to finish it out.
Joyce, we were just talking about the Mississippi Valley Poets Poetry Project right at Richfield Lake, just down from the post office and your home. So I was looking for a motion and a vote to move the project forward. And that's just kind of what happened when you were coming in. You were hearing the conversations and how the project was moving forward and kind of what was going on with it. But we connected with Colleen at the Cornerstone group there. And she liked the project, and her property goes right up to the park. And the amphitheater is her property, and the musical instruments around there, and the patio and the pizza oven.
Okay. Oh,
So
thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So, okay.
so that we got the votes, correct?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
in favor. Yes, I'm in favor. Yes. I don't know. I'm just coming down from another meeting, so sorry about that.
Oh, no, I just wanted to bring you up to snuff because you kind of
Thank
seemed you came right in. So
Yeah, thank you.
no problem. I will keep you guys posted. I will send emails tonight to Mississippi Valley Poets and then follow up with Colleen tomorrow that date would work out well. They do believe they can have a draft of what the sign would look like. And then we can kind of move forward and keep everyone posted. We would still have time at our April meeting to talk more about it. And I can work with John to get those postcards. And I'll either work with Karen and Larry to say something about the open house. But if there's someone who truly loves this project and wants to be a part of it and work with me, it would be great as we get more and more on our plate. If there's something that interests you and it can take away from Larry and Karen always being involved in it, please step forward, and I'm happy to share and bring you up to speed with the project. But if there's something that you just truly love that you're hearing about, please just speak up. And it would be great if everyone had one thing to focus on and then bring to the group so you don't have to keep hearing me speak all the time.
Yeah, I mean, people can think about kind of what role they want to play at it. And maybe next meeting, if someone really wants to take it on, they can mention it and we start working on it then. Unless there's someone who really wants to jump in right now. But unless there are any other questions at the moment, then we'll move on to the next item. And it's having a liaison from the Friendship City Commission to the Arts Commission. And I believe, Mary, I think this was something that you had requested.
Yes, I can speak to this. At the last meeting, when I mentioned that there was so much interest in people being on the Arts Commission, but not as many openings as there were people interested, you had said the more the merrier, and you would welcome participation from others. And so I realized that several people that had been interested in the Arts Commission ended up on the Friendship City Commission. And I thought there was a natural tie-in, as the Arts Commission maybe has events. The people from the Friendship City Commission can come and talk about their trips to Costa Rica and different things. And there had already been some overlap because members of that commission had done art displays and things like that. So I contacted staff and said, hey, is this a possibility? And I think Mary Kay can probably speak more to that. But anyway, I just threw it out there and hopefully it'll move forward.
And as Mary mentioned, she did run it by us and Paul, who is the manager at Wood Lake, and then Amy, who is the recreation director. And we all favored the idea. So it just kind of seemed like a natural fit. And if you remember, for those of you that have been on the commission for a while, we got asked the same thing by the Transportation Commission. And we did for a while have someone from the Arts Commission sit on the Transportation Commission to keep the projects and us up to date on that. And so this to me seems just like another opportunity like that. If someone is interested in being that liaison, we as city staff can make that happen and get it official.
What's their meeting schedule?
They don't meet as often. So I think their next meeting is April 15th. It's the third Thursday of the month. But they don't meet like every month. It's like every third month or so that they get together.
I was going to agree with you, Mary. I think they meet like 4 or 5 times tops throughout the whole year.
And
Do
I
we know-
wasn't
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I wasn't sure if they were going to have somebody from Friendship City come to the Arts Commission, or if we were going to, or the Arts Commission was going to send someone there. I don't know how staff worked that out. So Mary Kay can speak to that more.
Mary, you bring up a good point. I just assumed we would go to them, but I can clarify that if they want to send someone to us, and especially with your request, Mary, that they wanted to be on the Arts Commission, maybe we do it the other way if no one has an interest. If someone from RAC does have an interest, then it would make sense to do, yeah, good question. I guess we could go either way. Does anyone have a request? Or would you like to see the Friendship City Commission bring someone to our meetings?
I guess my understanding from looking at when I looked at the emails exchanges, my understanding was that it would be someone from the Friendship Commission attending our meetings.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, if there's someone on the Arts Commission that has a strong desire to want to be a liaison to them, I'm sure we could do that as well. Was there anybody on the, do we know of anybody on the Friendship Commission who's expressed interest in being a liaison?
They're not meeting until April 15th, so I don't think they've been told about it yet.
Agreed. But I think it would be fine. I mean, I'm not a voting member, but I think it would be fine if they had somebody, especially if they've just got a new batch of members and they had requested possibly being on RAC. This would give them an opportunity, and it just creates another partnership. So, and some, Mary's right, of which we've already done. It would be similar to Lisa Rudolph's role of bringing the information forward from the Community Service Commission, and now it would just be adding the Friendship City Commission.
So do we have to do anything to make it official? Do we need to vote on that? Do we need to approve it? How does that work?
I think it would be nice if you could give the green light and approve it if you so desire. If you were strongly one way or the other, as a staff person, I can bring that forward and send an email to Paul after tonight's meeting and say that we're aware he has a meeting coming, and we would welcome someone from Friendship City coming to our Arts Commission meetings to create a partnership. Or if they felt strongly the other way and we were okay with it, I would follow whatever lead you guys would like.
I don't know what other people's thoughts are, but I'd be open to getting word out to the Friendship Commission that if they have interest, that we would welcome a liaison from the Friendship Commission to the Arts Commission, with the possibility of maybe partnering on some projects at some point. And potentially at some point, maybe we would also send a liaison to their commission as well, if there was need and interest. But starting with someone from their commission coming to us.
Anybody else have anything?
I like how you stated that, Larry. I think that makes a lot of sense. Though I do feel like they need to meet and kind of discuss this within their commission as well. So I think the invitation makes a lot of sense. But it seems like they, as a commission, need to discuss this.
I'll send Paul a quick note tonight saying that we had a chance to talk about it. And I can share with him that once they've had the conversation, if they were fine with bringing someone, having a representative from Friendship City come to our meetings, that right now, that would be our request. But we're certainly willing to have the conversation depending on what their outcome is at their April meeting.
Sounds great.
Okay. Mary, did I miss anything or need to add anything?
No, I just thought, at the last meeting, people had expressed that, hey, the more the merrier. So that's why I sent out the feelers to see if it would work. So thank
Yep.
you.
Okay, cool. I'll continue that conversation with Paul then via email tonight.
Thanks, Mary Kay. And then next on the agenda, Joyce has actually mentioned this at our last meeting. She talked about exploring that maybe we want to look at exploring some partnership opportunities to collaborate with neighboring arts organizations. And some of that is obviously going on with the Mississippi Valley Poets, but there are a lot of little neighboring arts organizations. I know Edina has their own arts commission. I think Bloomington's done quite a bit of public art stuff. I know they actually have it incorporated into their city hall. They do. And I know there are cities like Eagan that do an arts festival in the summer. So Joyce, maybe you can talk a little bit more about what you had in mind, but yeah, looking to see what other groups are doing and seeing if there are ways to partner with them.
No, I just thought that, some of the other, just kind of observing other art groups and going and seeing, what they're doing so that we can bring it back to our group and expand on what, we're doing, so they may be doing some of the same things we're doing or expanding in their commission or whatever. But it would be good to connect. We can learn from others also in many ways to empower ourselves to what we're doing here. So that was my idea. I just, I was looking at, I talked to someone and I said, oh, that sounds interesting. They was talking about they're expanding their arts. I think it was in Brooklyn Center though, the arts group and, even raising monies to have more in the budget to do more things and so because I think we need to expand in our budget also. I think Mary Kay, didn't you talk about that or some kind of grant or something also? Were you talking about a grant earlier? Not here, not this today, but anyway, I think expanding more because we have a certain amount of monies that we have for a year to spend, right?
Sorry, you have a budget of $1,500.
And do you want to grow more on that to expand more on the budget?
Um,
I mean, as far as funds for doing more things.
well, it's always nice when we find partners, i.e. like this poetry project isn't, it's gonna have our name on it and our stamp of approval on it. And yet it's like finding the partners that also come up with some of the money. So, but yeah, depending, I mean, I think we can always look at that.
Mhm. So that
And
was my thought.
are you talking about other commissions or arts
Other
organizations
commission-
or
yeah,
both?
arts commissions in other cities or whatever,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and partnering, just meeting with people to, see what their ideas are. Not that we have to take everything, but just kind of expanding a little bit more, for Richfield.
So do we know, do most of the surrounding cities have arts commissions or does it vary?
I'm not sure. I know that, no, I'm not sure. I was just talking to one. I just thought the idea, we can look more, research more into that if that's something you
Okay,
want.
yeah.
If you want to, expand a little more, you can research it though. And I think I threw that out last time because, I thought it was a good idea to do, you know, to get a start.
Well, I would volunteer to put together a list. I could look at all the cities around us, and I would be happy to put together a list of different commissions and organizations around us. So next time we talk about it, we have more of an idea of what's out there.
Okay. And, we can leave some of us can even visit some of the sites or wherever they're at, or make an appointment to talk to them.
Exactly. But I think Jeannie's idea is a good start. Um, uh, in terms of attacking it, maybe coming up with a list of different arts commissions or arts organizations in some of the surrounding communities. I don't know, maybe 10 to 12 or roughly somewhere in there. Jeannie, how many you can however many you can handle without it being overwhelming anyway. And then come back to our next meeting and talk about what you found. And if people are interested, then we can kind of maybe pick one or two groups off that list and kind of work further to explore expanding some relationships with those groups. I mean, does that kind of sound what you had in mind, Joyce?
Yeah, and Jane, that's good. That's a good idea. Thanks for coming forward to do, for doing that. But that is
Yeah, no problem.
yeah, that is a
I'll
start.
have that by next meeting.
Yeah, that's the start. Like I said, I threw it out there, but if we want to grow, if you want to grow our commission or build relations, because that's what it's about right now, to get to know other people, to and maybe there's some things that we can learn from them. Now, I know we can. So
And to your point a little bit, Joyce, finding out if they have information even about how they're funded
right.
and things like that, to give us some ideas. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about some funding stuff in a minute or two, but yeah, I mean, I'm always curious as to what other organizations do. I know we've gone back and forth with the city about trying to come up with some dedicated arts fund with sort of mixed results, I guess.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice, if we can continue. I think if we can look at what other cities are doing in terms of funding for their arts commissions and arts organizations, I think it's easier to come back to Richfield City Council and say, Brooklyn Center's doing it, or St. Louis Park, or Edina, or other comparable size cities have found a way to fund their public art, and this is how they've done it. How can we get it done in Richfield? That type of thing.
Yeah, because I just think we need more some monies for the commission, to run things a little bit more. That's my think.
Anything else you wanted to add with that, Joyce?
No, that's it. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Janie, for taking that on. Next item, just briefly, I was not able to attend because the training times, I should say, haven't worked with my schedule. But has anyone gone to the equity and inclusion trainings and have any reflections about those? Any takeaways?
I wasn't able to attend any either.
I attended one, was it the Tuesday one? I can't say I found it very helpful, and I found it kind of annoying that they're using the implicit association test, which is not scientific. So that kind of irked me. I didn't really learn anything. She's a good presenter, but I didn't feel that the content that she went over was very useful.
Good feedback. Anybody else?
I thought she was very good. And, I received much from that. I mean, it's just bringing awareness to really how we should work with one another in our settings of employment or whatever. But I thought it was very helpful. I didn't have anything negative to say about it, but I thought it was helpful. But, especially bringing others together to really gain some insight into equity and inclusion, how, to include others. And how, so she brought out some points that I thought was great. So Chelsea, you said that you said you didn't think you got anything out of it, or what did you say? You said something.
I found everything basically vague to the point of not saying anything. I mean, at the end, it boiled down to be nice to others, which, yes, it's a good sentiment, but like not even defining like what being nice to someone actually is. So it felt all very vague to me, I think. And I think I would have preferred maybe something that was a little more grounded in like Richfield experiences. Like, here are some of the people who live in Richfield, and this is some of the things they believe that you might not know or that you might not understand, or something like that.
Yeah,
think,
I
yeah.
attended as well. And I thought it was good for, a 2-hour general overview of, equity and inclusion and how it relates to our roles. It would be great to have, a second session where we do dig deeper into it and understand more about our biases and what we can do about it when we're interacting with others in the community. So, but I thought it was a great start, and Tiffany was a great presenter. I agree.
Yes, I do. I agree. She did a great job. And it's more to it than just the first session. You have to get more into another, like you say, a deeper. And it just takes time because some people are not ready for things, actually, if you get too deep in the beginning. But I'm sure Tiffany will go deeper later. But I thought it was, like I said, it was a good start. And thank you for sharing that. It's a good start because it needs to happen somewhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unfortunately, they didn't tape it because there were concerns about some of the people sharing personal information, things like that. So, yeah, I'm a little disappointed that it didn't work with my work schedule, but hopefully there'll be some other opportunities to do stuff like that going forward. I do know that there's another training for commission members coming up Monday, April 5th from 6 to 8. And that's more along the lines of I don't think I'm going to be able to attend that one either, but it's more along the lines of going over things like open meeting laws, things like that, rules for how commissions are supposed to operate, things along those lines. Is that correct, Mary Kay or Mary?
Correct. Some of you guys have already attended that one, but they're repeating it for those that might have missed it or those that are new to the commission. And that will be by Mary, the city attorney, will be presenting for that one.
So if you haven't attended or want a refresher on open meeting laws and the rules and regulations that surround public commissions like this, then I would encourage people to attend. It's also an opportunity to meet, even it's online, you'll meet other commission members too. So if you can make it, I encourage people to show up. Next on the agenda, and I don't have a lot on this. I know it's something that's going on, and again, it's something that Mary Kay and Mary might have a little bit more insight in. But I know that there is a project along with the state and the city of Bloomington to do some work on 494 and potentially doing some of the freeway exits or redoing them. And they're looking for input into that. And I don't think they've said explicitly yet, but there certainly may be some opportunities for some public art in there, especially if people, when they're giving feedback, are saying that they would like to see some public art as part of these projects. So I don't know, Mary Kay or Mary, if you have any more information about the Gateway project. Other than they're looking for input from people as they decide how they're going to redo 494 and the entrances and exits around Portland.
I believe that I forwarded something from Kelly Wynn, and it was an invitation for the meetings or meeting that is coming up. I might have sent it on Monday. If you didn't get it and have an interest, I believe Karen also early on might have brought this up in last year's meeting, saying that it would be important for someone from RAC to be paying attention to that in case there were the chance of public art or art in some way, shape, or form. And so if you didn't get the invite, I'm happy to resend it, but there was a pretty version and then in addition to the pretty version, there was just a paragraph on what was happening and where to go for more information. If someone didn't get it, just shoot me an email and I'll resend it. Mary, you might have more on the project to share, but I'm not that familiar with it.
So there were two parts to it. So the part that Mary Kay shared with you is coming from MnDOT, and they're looking for feedback, and they want to hear from people about what's going to be happening. There also was, it must have been a couple weeks back, a session from that's the part that's the Gateway project. I think it's the College of New Urbanism was trying to figure out how they should design the Portland interchange area and what should happen. And that's, I think, where Karen was talking about the art part. But they also, MnDOT is looking for comments on the 35W 494 interchange, as well as all of the things that are happening from, say, 24th Avenue to Lyndale with different configurations of exits and stuff. And I know one of the things that Richfield was pushing for is to make sure that there are pedestrian bridges going across the freeway so that we can connect Bloomington and Richfield and not have this big like divider. And so one thing that some people were very excited about is that they were going to put a pedestrian bridge at Chicago. So people didn't have to go all the way to 12th or all the way to Portland, that they could go over top the freeway there. And so that kind of stuff is the part that Mary Kay just sent you, because there's a whole nother round of open houses coming up. There's like a listening session on April 6th, April 7th, April 27th and 29th. And I can dig through my papers here and find the other thing while you guys go on with the meeting. But the one that's going out is coming from MnDOT that Mary Kay just sent out.
So I think it's definitely something for us to keep an eye on right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make anything immediate in terms of meetings, but certainly to keep an eye on this, and if there are opportunities for feedback, especially around encouraging public art to be part of the projects, I think we should be looking for those and encouraging that. And hopefully, Mary, if you see stuff like that that comes up through the city, if you could make sure that we're aware of that, that'd be helpful. Or Mary Kay, if you see anything that comes your way that says that they're looking for maybe something a little bit more specific in terms of feedback, if there's a type of opportunities at some point, or if there's an opportunity for us to be at the table a little bit more down the road, to keep an eye out for things like that. But in the meantime, if people can, people have the email that Mary Kay sent and want to get more information, I think that's a good place to start.
And I can keep my eyes and ears open, and as well as share that if art becomes part of it, just like 66th Street did, that hopefully they would reach out to us as well. And I can follow up with Karen too, because I believe the Gateway project she was interested in.
And I included some of the notes from your email, Mary Kay, in the minutes. So I can send that out after this meeting.
Great, thank you.
Okay, good. Any other comments on that before we move on? All right. All right, so we'll move on to our next item. I'm actually going to move this up because that's what I had originally intended. So the draft of the matching grant application, I know that there was some talk that we'd been asked to come up with some questions for potential RFP a while back. Is that, and I know Mary Kay sent out something recently to everybody to look for feedback on what she's come up with. Does that sound right, Mary Kay?
Thanks, Larry. I was asked and encouraged to work with you guys to create a form that if someone came forward in the community, whether it was an artist or a business or a new partnership, that there was some universal form that would come back to RAC to be able to look at the project, review it, and then either decide to move it forward to the council for consideration, or to ask more questions, and or to choose not to look any further at the project. Again, this is something brand new to me, so I've been doing some work trying to figure out, and we have the luxury of being able to work with Brian Santos, who is going to make the form look a whole lot better than the draft that I sent you. But if you would give me any feedback on some of the questions that you would want to know if you were voting on a project to move it forward to the council. That would be very helpful. If I missed something on the form, if there was something that didn't need to be on the form, that's what I'm looking for. And this form would then be available. And Mia, this is where it comes up, like the gentleman who owned the grocery store who wanted a mural on his wall at the grocery store would be able to fill out this form, and then the form would come back to you guys as the Arts Commission to review and decide to send on or give it your okay for the matching funds. And so some of the big concerns about this application is that where the work is going to be, what barriers they might have, and the biggest thing is how are they maintaining the artwork or said piece, and the maintenance plan, and then depending on what the piece is, even going as far as like how it's going to be anchored and all those kinds of fun things. This application won't be for the artwork that's going in like at Chase Bank, but this piece would be used for the artwork and what I'm calling the matching grant. And right now, we don't know what that matching grant is looking like, or the money that council might have for said projects, but we need a universal form that treats all the projects coming in on the same playing field, if that makes sense. And so I haven't had much in this area, but I've had people look at it. And so at least it was something to start with and for you guys to add to, since you'll be the ones doing the voting. And I'll apologize in advance. I think I sent it out to everyone, and it at the heading, it said Richfield Arts Commission call for proposals.
I was muted. So Mary Kay, I think it's great that we developed a form like this. I think it will help with vetting for any organization that is looking for grant money. You know, in the absence of really understanding how much grant money is available, I mean, would the process essentially be that we would use this information to make proposals on behalf of, you know, an organization and work the process to get the grant dollars? Or how does that work once we actually get the form? Like what?
When we get the form, it would become part of your agenda, is my understanding. You would review the form, talk about it as as the Arts Commission, ask the person who would come to said meeting and present it. We talked a little bit about putting on there when you guys meet, and it all really is dependent on what the council has for funds, but just kind of getting this going. So when the gentleman or the store owner comes, he has something to be able to go on, and you guys have something to review. So your step in the process would be, these forms come in, they're part of our meeting. They would probably have said store owner and possibly the artist come answer any questions you have, present their project, and then you guys would take a vote to move it forward to agree to a dollar amount after looking at their budget to possibly lower the dollar amount. But if you liked said project, then it moves to the council kind of with your stamp of approval on it. And then it's up to the council to decide the funds. My understanding is RAC would not decide the funds. And of course, it almost seems, part of it, we couldn't, if it's $10,000 a year, I guess you guys would be looking at, is that one project? Is there one project that really is worth $10,000? Or do you take on, wow, we have 5 small projects we could fund? So I think there's going to be some sort of timeline so that everyone has a fair chance to put it in at the same time and they can all be looked at, because otherwise, in my opinion, it goes back to the early bird gets the worm. And if the money kicks in January 1 and we have one proposal in February, I think you guys would like to know, hey, we have, 4 proposals here to look at and review and be able to have a discussion and then move it forward. So internally, we've talked a little bit about that. Right now, I'm not aware of any money that's just sitting there for said projects, but I know it's been talked about enough that we need some sort of process, because everyone, well, yeah, they're asking, and this was told to me, it needs to get done. So, so I think it's a first step, but just kind of looking at it, in my opinion, yeah, you can't just have them trickle in. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because otherwise you could give your money away to the person in February or move it forward. And then, yeah, so I think a little bit more, but if we can agree on the form, I can get it tweaked and up. And then I think Amy would be working with the council to be able to figure out when those applications would be coming and what year they might be starting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I do feel like we need a little more structure and clarity about, how, application deadlines and review periods and funding opportunities in order for us to make good decisions if we're going to be, kind of the point of entry for these kinds of applications. But it sounds like really the goal right here is just to get a format in place for gathering information. And there's going to be a lot more details to come.
I think getting the form done is the first step, just so that everyone kind of agrees, or if there's something standing out that you would say, well, if I don't know XYZ, it would be very hard for me to vote on. And maybe there's someone currently on the Arts Commission that has more experience on this than I, when people submit a project. And so that's what I'm asking for any help. I'm trying to hold back on the time that Brian puts into this, and I'm trying to put the legwork into it because last time I brought it up, I thought it got a little a little mixed up and people weren't understanding what I was looking for. So I thought if I at least started a draft, it would give you an idea what you could possibly see in the future. And then it would become, the paperwork that starts the process. But yes, Mia, definitely there more work and a timeline and the whole fairness thing and how that would work. But first and foremost, if we can get the form going, then it can start to put more life into it, and then giving enough time for an application to be reviewed by you guys, what it would look like when they come forward, Would you have already had the application? I mean, a whole lot more questions, but if we could maybe just focus on some of the questions that I did put down. And I know we're running short on time because I think we're gonna Zoom out here or WebEx out in a matter of minutes. So
So-
We do want feedback.
So I guess I would say, in interest of time for tonight's meeting, that we give Mary Kay feedback on the form that she's created so far, as soon as we can. And if you need that form sent to you again, to let Mary Kay know. And I think it would be helpful, again, I don't know what Mary Kay within the next week, if people could get feedback to you on that.
yeah, that would be ideal if people had the interest and are willing to do that. A week would be great. Brian is waiting for me to finish in order to make it beautiful and user-friendly, but we wanted to get at least the questions down. I've sent it internally to the people that I work with. And now I'm asking if you guys would take a look at it. And if I missed a question or didn't explain something well enough, if it's too much white space, any of that feedback would be great.
Excellent. In interest of time, since we're apparently going to be kicked out in like 2 minutes, I'm going to say we move the grant funding discussion to the next meeting, as well as the little library ban shell. And just quickly, Mary Kay, in a minute or less, if there's any pressing updates that you want to share.
The only thing I want to share is I will start making our Zoom meetings go until 9 o'clock, so we don't run into this anymore. I have never, in my years with the city, been able to say this, but this is a very exciting time for RAC. You guys are being asked to participate and be involved in a whole lot of things. And I would have to say the last week alone, my whole week has been dedicated to RAC activities. So, so be prepared. It's going to be a wonderful year, and lots of opportunities ahead. So if anything grabs your interest, please reach out to Larry or Karen or myself, and we'll get you involved to the level that you would like to be. So thanks. I know it was a lot of stuff tonight, and I will follow up on the stuff that I said. So.
All right, everybody. See everybody in May. Thank you.